Hey everyone, it's Fitzcuffs here. Now today I'd like to walk you through my entire Nintendo Switch collection. So I bought the Nintendo Switch when it first came out on day one back in 2017, and over that time I've amassed a collection of 146 games valued right around $5,000. Now I'm really excited to walk you through my collection today to point out some of the favorite games that I've played thus far, as well as show you some of the games that are in my backlog. If there are any games that I don't own that you think should be in the collection, please be sure to let me know in the comments. With that said, let's get to it. Okay, with that said, let's get started. So the first game we're going to show today is a game called 1-2 Switch. Now this game came out in the early days of the Nintendo Switch, and it's more or less a party game. I remember going out on work trips and taking this with me and playing with the team in the hotel lobby. And it's got a lot of fun, quirky little mini games. It's not nearly as good as a Mario Party game, but it is a prime example of Nintendo doing something unique and branching out and trying to experiment with different types of gameplay. It has really great use of the Nintendo Wii, Nintendo Wii, the Nintendo Switch remotes as well. I haven't really seen this game in stores much these days. By stores, I mean your secondhand stores like a GameStop. But it's fun if you can pick it up for a cheap price. Next up, we have a game called Akai Katana Shin. Now, this is a shoot 'em up game. It was first released, I believe, on the Xbox 360. It had a Japanese release. It was insanely expensive and difficult to find. A few years ago, it was ported over to the Nintendo Switch and put out by Limited Run Games, and I was able to pick up a copy. It's still sealed. I do plan on playing this one day, but for now, it's a sealed copy for me. Another sealed game that's going to be a common theme here, because a lot of these games I either have on other platforms or I have them digitally. So Nintendo Switch, I do have a lot of sealed games that you'll see here as we talk today. But Alwa's collection, so it includes both Alwa's Awakening and Alwa's Legacy. I have not played either of these games yet. I have heard that they're sort of like a Metroidvania style of game. It has that retro 8-bit NES graphic style to it. So I'll definitely check this out at some point, and I'm happy to have this in the collection. The next game needs no introduction. It's Animal Crossing New Horizon. Now, this game was insanely popular during the COVID era. It was many people's form of escape from those times. It's a fun game. I've played a little bit of it. I've never really gotten too deep into the Animal Crossing series. I'm one of those guys where once I start playing, I really try to focus on silly stuff like digging up fossils and reselling them for money and then seeing what I can do to expand the town with buildings. But I never really got too deep into customizing my own house or playing with friends and checking out their houses. I know I'm missing out. Definitely let me know in the comments how much time you've spent with this game and what some of your memories are from it. And if it's worth me jumping back in, I'd happily jump back into it. Here's a game I haven't played yet called Aqua Moto Racing Utopia. Now, I imagine this is just a clone of Wave Race 64. They also made a Wave Race game for the Nintendo GameCube. This looks like just a typical racing type game on jet skis. Pretty mindless fun. As I said, haven't played it, but looking forward to getting into it at some point. Now, this game, Arcade Paradise, I absolutely love this game. If you have not played this game or experienced it yet, I highly recommend you check it out. For the longest time, it was on Xbox Game Pass, so you could play it there. I believe it also got a PS5 and a Steam release as well. I own the physical copy on the Nintendo Switch. But in this game, basically, you start out as a daughter of a successful entrepreneur, business owner in the area, trying to prove yourself. He generously allows you to manage a failing laundromat that he owns in a seedy part of town. And what you realize along the way is that the arcade machines in the back of the laundromat are making more money than the laundromat services itself. So over the course of the game, you gradually expand the footprint of the arcade and the laundromat to the point where you no longer have a laundromat in the building. It's just an arcade. And there are many, many different arcade machines that you can own. They each have different unlockables to them. So by playing them or accomplishing certain feats in the games, you're able to increase the amount of profitability from the games. There's an awesome soundtrack to this. I mean, I love this game. I can't recommend this enough. If you haven't checked out Arcade Paradise, highly, highly recommend you check that one out. This game is called ARMS. It's been around on Nintendo Switch since close to its release. I have never played it, but it's one of those games that for the longest time I didn't own a copy of it. And then I was in a local game store not too long ago. I actually saw it on the shelf and I said I had to have it. It looks like it's just wacky type of rock'em sock'em bopper sort of game with robots. If you've played it, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments, but happy to have this. Assassin's Creed, the Rebel Collection. So it looks like this has Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and Assassin's Creed Rogue. Now, I have played Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag on the PlayStation 4. That was a really fun game. I loved it. I'm curious how it plays on the Nintendo Switch port. This is still a sealed copy, mainly because I do own these games on other platforms, but it was really cheap on Amazon. I think it was like $20 or something, so picked it up at that price. Another game that I've heard a lot about from the gaming community is called Astral Chain. Now, I'm currently making a video where I'll be reviewing this, so I'm not going to spoil too much about what I'm going to say about it here. But this is one of the games that I've heard a lot about with high critical acclaim. It is a Nintendo exclusive. Interesting playstyle. Again, I have a video coming out where I'll tell more about this, but it's worth checking out if you're able to find a copy of it. And now, last year's game of the year, Balatro. I've heard the pronunciation doesn't matter. I know people that have reached out to the publisher and asked, hey, how do you actually pronounce this? And the response was, you pronounce it however you feel like. So this game is a roguelike poker game, card deck simulating game. It sounds like a simple premise, and it is, but it's insanely fun what they did here with the mechanics of this game. So you basically have various jokers and other cards that can give you various multipliers, and you're really trying to boost up your chain score and defeat different rounds of handicaps that occur. And there's 8 rounds total that you need to go through. I ironically haven't yet beaten all 8 rounds. I think I've gotten up to 6 or 7, and then the point value gets to be insanely high, and I just kind of flounder. But there's a lot of depth and strategy that goes in this game. I've spent a lot of time with it, looking forward to spending even more time with it. I highly recommend this game. It was Game of the Year for a reason. Here's a game that was exclusive to the Nintendo GameCube for the longest time. It's actually 2 games. It's Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD Remaster. These for a while were very difficult to find on the GameCube. I think the price was inching up there on the GameCube versions of them. And then the last year or so, Nintendo decided to release a Nintendo Switch version of this, which you see here. I acquired this, haven't played it yet, still sealed, but looking forward to one day cracking this open. Bayonetta 2. This also includes the digital download for the first Bayonetta game. I did spend a little bit of time with Bayonetta. It is a hack and slash game, very much similar to the style of Devil May Cry. I have not played the second one nor the third one. I believe there's also an Origins prequel, but definitely a fun game. I am going to get back into it at some point, just not sure when. Here's an interesting game, Bendy and the Ink Machine. So I know that this one has ports, I believe, on the Xbox One, might even have a PlayStation release. It's definitely on Steam. This is kind of a creepy game. So you're basically reliving past memories or scenarios of a illustrator and kind of going through what he experienced at the time with the film studio he was working for. But it's told from the character Bendy, who was a creation of the artist. And what's unique about this is the actual ink that was used to either print or make other characters. It's kind of going wild throughout the game, and it's kind of a horror story where the ink is forming various monsters or obstacles that are trying to attack you. And they really tap into that horror realm of trying to make a scary environment with dark, ominous music, foreboding tone and overtures. It was a unique one. It was definitely an interesting playthrough. If you're able to find a copy for a low price, it's worth picking up. Here's a game I don't know anything about. It is the Steelbook Special Edition. It's called Beyond a Steel Sky. I think this game was previously released on other platforms and then was re-released for the Switch. I honestly don't know anything about it, but some of the other folks that I watch on YouTube were talking about this game. The price of this was really low. It was $15 or $20 that I acquired it for. So I said, why not? I'll take a stab at it. And eventually I'll play it. Captain Toad Treasure Trackers. So this game was first released on the Nintendo Wii U. It later received a Nintendo Switch port. It's one that's been on my radar for a long time. Still sealed, haven't played it. I've heard nothing but great things about this game. Everyone that I know that's played this absolutely loves Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker, and I'm sure I will too whenever I do get around to playing it. Cartoon Network Battle Crashers. So this is a game that I bought in a lot of other games. It does have, it looks like, some Adventure Time characters in here. I don't really watch a lot of Cartoon Networks. I don't know any of these characters. I am familiar with Adventure Time. It looks like it's a sort of beat 'em up game, but I'll give it a try at some point. If you've played this, let me know if it's any good. Next up, Castle Crashers Remastered. This is an excellent game. I know for a long time this was very hard to find. The price was creeping up. At one point it was over $100 for a copy of this game. Mine is still sealed because I have this on Steam and I play it a lot on my Steam Deck. But if you haven't played Castle Crashers, I highly recommend it. It is available directly from the publisher's website. So this is Behemoth Games. Go to Behemoth's website and you probably are able to still buy it directly from them. If you don't have the Nintendo Switch and just want to play the game still, it should be available on Steam Deck. It usually goes on sale every few months or so. Highly, highly recommend this game. It's actually one of the clips that you see in my intro video as well, where the character has a sword and is slashing at some enemies. Love this game. Another interesting game, this is from Atlus. I love Atlus. I buy everything that I can that Atlus makes, but this is Catherine Full Body. Now, this game was originally released on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. It's a very interesting sort of puzzle action-adventure game. It tells the story of a man that he had a questionable evening. His memories are kind of shaken up, and he has to go through these puzzles to sort of uncover the truth of what's going on with everything. Very interesting, very unique game. Worth checking out if you haven't played this one before. Next up, we have Clubhouse Games. This is the 51 Worldwide Classics Edition. So this game I know was very popular during COVID. It was sold out everywhere. You couldn't even find a copy secondhand. Once the supply started creeping back in, I picked it up. I have not yet played it, but it's got all these classic games that you would have played from growing up and knowing love. There's Mancala on here. It looks like there's Rummy, checkers, chess, backgammon, stuff like that. So it's what you'd expect from a game like this. Another sealed game, Collection of Mana. Now, this was originally a Super Nintendo game. So there's Secret of Mana, Trials of Mana, and Final Fantasy Adventure on this cartridge. I've not played any of these. I had a good friend that was a big fan of everything Mana related, so I will get into this at some point. The art style looks absolutely beautiful. These games do have a lot of positive critical acclaim with them, so looking forward to checking these out at some point in time. Now, another fun shoot-'em-up game. This is called Cotton Fantasy. Now, if you're not familiar with the Cotton series, these are considered cute-em-ups, so it's really cute, artsy style graphics. You're going to have things like cotton candy floating at you that you have to shoot at with bubble gum or stuff like that. But really fun take on the shoot 'em up genre. I also have the Cotton Reboot, which again, very similar, just very quirky, over the top, Japanese style cute 'em up action. Next, a game called Cris Tales. This is one that was on sale for about $5, so I picked it up. I know nothing about it, just grabbed it because the price was great. I'll check it out at some point. Here's a game that is a Nintendo Switch exclusive. It is Cruisin' Blast. This is really fun. I think the nostalgia factor for me places the Nintendo 64 versions of Cruisin' USA and Cruisin' World ahead of this. Those were great games. It's fun to just race through and plow through other vehicles as you're driving. But this was fun in its own right, and it goes on sale frequently. I don't know what it is currently, but I got this for $30 or less at the time. It's got a lot of replay value to it. Definitely fun if you're playing your Switch more in handheld mode and just need something as you're commuting to work or killing some time waiting for a meeting or whatever. Fun one to check out. Next, we have Cult of the Lamb. This is one that, again, I got on sale. I know this is on pretty much every major platform out there. I honestly haven't played it, but I've heard nothing but great things about it. Looking forward to getting into it. If you've played this, please let me know in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. And the next game needs no introduction. It's Cuphead. Cuphead is a very artistic sort of beat-em-up game. It's known for its difficulty. I've played this on the Xbox One. I found this version out at a GameStop for about $10. It was a steal to have at that price because unfortunately the Xbox One version I bought it when it was first released, so it's a physical copy on Xbox. It's a digital copy on the Xbox. I wanted the physical, so here I have the physical on Nintendo Switch. Very happy to have this. Really hard game. I've never beaten it. Maybe one day I'll muster up the time and the patience to work through it. Okay, the next game we have, Darius Burst EX Plus, another Chronicle. If you're not familiar with Darius, these are shoot 'em up games. What they're known for is the enemies tend to be giant fish, specifically metallic fish, robot sort of aircraft that you have to attack. Very kind of quirky premise, but awesome graphics, awesome music. I think I actually have a copy of this or something similar to it on the PlayStation Vita. Played it a lot on the PlayStation Vita. Haven't played it too much here on the Nintendo Switch, but I love the Darius series. And speaking of Darius, here is the Darius Cosmic Collection. So this is a compilation and includes a lot of the OG Darius games. There's Darius 2, Darius Twin, Darius Force, Darius Alpha, Darius Plus, a bunch of different releases on here. So this was actually put out by Strictly Limited Games, and it had a collector's edition sort of packaging with it. I've got some of the stuff that came with it, like a pin and a postcard and other stuff, but happy to have this in the collection. Here's a game I know nothing about, but it was on sale at Walmart. It's called Dave the Diver. So I think I paid $15 or less for this. It looks like it is an adventure RPG, and there's some management going on in the game, so you have to manage resources or inventory, I think. I really don't know much about this game, but if you've played it, please let me know in the comments. Another game I don't know much about, but it was on sale. This is called Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise. So I'm vaguely familiar with the Deadly Premonition series. I know they've had a long history on various consoles, but I'll check this out at some point. This might be one of the ones that I pull out in the month of October, especially as we approach Halloween. I like to play more spooky games during that month. Next up, another shoot 'em up. This is Death Smiles 1 and 2. My version is still sealed because I do own Death Smiles 2 on the Xbox 360. I've never played Death Smiles 1, so I will be opening this at some point to play that. But these are great shoot 'em up games. Everyone that I know that have played this game, they have nothing but positive things to say about it. If you're a fan of the shoot 'em up genre, highly recommend you check this one out as well. Next up, Detective Pikachu Returns. So I found this one for sale at a Walmart for about $30. Never played it. I love the Detective Pikachu movie that came out a few years ago. Pikachu's just an adorable character to begin with. So definitely looking forward to checking this out at some point. Diablo 3, The Eternal Collection. So I put a lot of time into this. This was fun to play, especially with a friend doing co-op mode, just beating up random enemies. I've honestly never finished a Diablo game. I also played number 4 recently on the Xbox. I don't know, something about them I just have a hard time finishing and following through. I know that a lot of people love Diablo. If this one is worth going back and replaying and finishing, please let me know in the comments. Here's a game that came recommended me by an employee at a GameStop. This is Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, the complete edition. Now, I never got into Digimon because to me it was always a knockoff of Pokemon. I am a big Pokemon fan. Digimon, I don't really know anything about. I've heard that this is more of a darker style of gameplay than Pokemon, so I will check it out at some point. But I believe this has at least 2 different games packed into this cartridge, so I'll give it a play at some point. Another shoot 'em up. So Nintendo Switch is known for having shoot 'em ups right now. I know when the console first released back in 2017, it was a little sparse out there. There weren't many games that were available, but that's definitely not the case now. So this was released by Limited Run Games. I picked this up and waited about 9 months for it to arrive. It's still sealed, and that's mainly because this game has so many different ports. I have the arcade ROM over here on my PC. I'm sure I'll do a video at some point regarding the arcade MAME games that I play. This is definitely one of them. So right now, I don't need to open this. It's going to stay sealed for the time being, but definitely happy to have this. Another game that was once a Wii U exclusive, it's now been ported over to the Nintendo Switch. This is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. This is a very hard game. I haven't beaten this. I've probably gotten maybe 10% through it, but it does have beautiful graphics. It's what you'd expect from a Donkey Kong. It's got fun, quirky music, great characters. I'll get back into this at some point. Doom on Nintendo Switch. This is really fun to have, especially in handheld mode. I haven't beaten it fully because I think I spent more time on the Xbox version of this game, but this is definitely worth checking out if you don't have it on the Switch. Dragon Ball The Breakers. I have not played this game. This is again one that I just found on sale on Amazon. It was under $20, so if you haven't picked up on it by now, if stuff goes on sale and it looks like it's a good deal, I pull the trigger and get it, even if I don't know anything about the game. I figure I'll pick it up and figure it out later if it's any good or not. So I am familiar with the Dragon Ball Z universe. I've read the manga. I've watched some of the episodes of the TV show casually, but growing up, my friends were big into Dragon Ball Z, so I'm sure I'll have a good time with this whenever I decide to play it. Here's a game that was talked about a lot a few years ago. It's called Eastward. I own this on the Nintendo Switch, but for a while it was available on Xbox Game Pass. I had intended to play it there, mainly because I want to get the achievements. It's no longer on Game Pass, but I'm holding out that maybe it will appear there again one day. But this is sort of like a Zelda clone, I've heard, but with its own kind of spin off story. But it's got that fun art style that's very similar to Legend of Zelda Link to the Past. But I really don't know anything about it story wise, but I'll check it out at some point. Next up, it's another shooter. This is called Espagulda 2. This is still a sealed copy, again, for the same reason I have this on a arcade version of the game. So I'll play it at some point. Just this will probably stay sealed up. This is a Japanese import. Now, to my knowledge, this is still only available in Japan. This is called Esperade. I do have this also on my MAME arcade machine that I play. I bought this game before I even got into MAME arcade games. So this is an open copy. I've played it a good amount on my Nintendo Switch. This is a highly sought after game as far as I know, mainly because it never received a North American release. It's still a Japanese and Asian exclusive. And then speaking of Japanese games, so this was the Etrian Odyssey 1, 2, and 3 remaster. Now, as of this recording, I'm not aware of this getting a North American release, so to my knowledge, this is still available only as a Japanese exclusive. I bought this from a company called Play Asia and had it imported. Paid close to $100 for this. To my knowledge, this is the only way that you can play all 3 of these games together. I think some of these games have Nintendo DS or 3DS ports, but they're also pretty expensive. I think Etrian Odyssey on the Nintendo 3DS is about $90 to $100. But haven't played it yet. It's made by Atlas, so pretty much anything Atlas touches is known to turning to gold. I will play these at some point. Now, another game that you might have heard of from one of my other videos, Fight Crab. Now, this was previously a Japanese exclusive, as I alluded to in my previous videos. I had set up a Japanese eShop account on my Nintendo Switch so I could go in and scope a copy of this and other games that were odd like this. I actually never bought it on a digital copy. I only bought the physical version here once it received that North American release. But yeah, Fight Crab. There's nothing like it out there right now. Definitely a unique premise to have crabs and lobsters fighting each other. Here we have the Final Fantasy 1 through 6 collection. So for the longest time, this was not released in the North American region. This was a Japanese and Asian exclusive. This is the Asian version that I received from PlayAsia. It has since been released in North America. You'll find it on Amazon readily available. But at the time, we didn't know it was going to get released over here. So this was the only way to get all 6 of these games in one place. Sadly, I've never played any of these games. I own them all on either the Nintendo, the NES, or the Super Nintendo. So I've had the ability to play them for a while. I just have never gotten to it. So if you've played any of these and are a fan of them, I've heard great things about number 6 especially. Please let me know. I'd love to put this at the front of the backlog and make it a priority to play those games. Next up, Fire Emblem Three Houses. So this is actually the first Fire Emblem game I ever played. I know these games have been out since, I believe, the Famicom, which is the Japanese version of the Nintendo Entertainment System. I actually have one of the Famicom games on my Nintendo Switch. There was a period, I think 2 or 3 years ago, they released that game for free, only for like a month time period. It was a limited time offer, so I grabbed it. This is the first one I played, as I mentioned. Honestly, I know a lot of people love these games, but this wasn't really for me. I know that that's probably sacrilege, and if I'm a complete moron, please let me know in the comments. But for me, it was a very compelling story. Very interesting what they did with 3 different characters. I think for me, just tactical strategy sort of games, not really my forte, and that's probably the reason why it wasn't as well received with me. Still a great game, though. Not taking anything away from the game, the gameplay, the game style. It is a Nintendo exclusive, so that's always awesome. If you disagree, please definitely let me know in the comments. Oh, I said I like Darius games. Here's another Darius game. This is Darius HD. So this one I think was on sale as low as $10 or $12, something ridiculously cheap. I picked it up several years ago. I've played it a little bit. It's got a lot of the same stuff that I've talked about on the previous Darius carts that I've already previewed for you, but definitely a fun shoot 'em up style game. Here's a game that's been on my radar for a while. I had it in my Amazon cart and I was waiting for just the right time to pull the trigger. It finally went on sale and I did it. This is called Game Builder Garage. I picked this up for $20 or less, I believe. Still sealed. To my knowledge, this is still exclusive to the Nintendo Switch. Can't find it anywhere else. But it's a fun premise because they introduce you to programming and game design. I would love to get into this at some point and make my own little mini games and then share them, maybe make a YouTube video about some of the games I've created. But very interesting premise. I've heard it's very user friendly to actually build games. So looking forward to getting to that at some point. I laugh because this is a game I picked up from GameStop. It was on the clearance rack. It's probably no good, and that's why it was on clearance. This is called Gas Guzzlers Extreme. And I'm chuckling too because the back of it is just showing a bunch of cars kind of like exploding. It looks like it's a budget title. It's probably not very good, but for a few bucks, sure, I'll take a chance on it. Here's a game. So this is called Has Been Heroes. I've not really heard a lot of good things about this. I actually bought it because this is one of the early releases for the Nintendo Switch. As I alluded to previously in this video, when the Switch first came out, it was very hard to find physical games for it. Not because of lack of availability of the games, like it's not like it's a supply sort of thing. It's that there just weren't games that were made. So this is one of the ones that came out in the early days, and I picked it up because, again, I was just trying to build up a Switch collection with the limited availability that they had. I didn't really play it much. I think I booted it up and it wasn't really for me, but maybe I'll go back and try it again at some point. Let me know if you've played this one, if I'm completely misjudging this game. Here's an interesting one called Hero Must Die Again. So this was a limited run release. As I understand it, this was originally a mobile game. And I played a little bit of it. I'm very intrigued to get back into this and actually beat it. But to my understanding, what the premise is you play as a hero that has 5 days left to live. And the game actually begins, spoiler alert, it begins with the hero dying at the hands of like an arch nemesis. And you basically rewind the clock and have to go back and kind of replay different, not necessarily scenarios, but you go to like different parts of the map, interact with different people, and you have to kind of fit things together in a certain way so that you can go back through your playthrough and say, okay, I got to go here first, and then there, and then over this section. And somehow you'll sequence it in a way where you actually will survive that encounter with the villain. But very interesting premise. Again, I haven't beaten it. I spent a little bit of time with it. Now, this is fully voiced in Japanese. It does have English subtitles, so you can follow along. But if you're not really into reading, this might not be for you. Here's a game. It's another shoot 'em up called Horgihue and Friends. Now, this looks like a pretty cute style game. Not necessarily a cute 'em up, but cute in that they use cute looking dogs, cats, taking to the skies in a horizontal side scrolling shooter. Haven't played it, but I'll get to it eventually. And then we have Hunt Down. So this is a side scrolling game. It's built kind of in the style of Contra, if you're a fan of Contra. It's got a lot of the explosions and gunplay that you'd expect from Contra, pretty bumping soundtrack. Definitely check it out if you can. It's worth your time. Okay, continuing on. Here's a game called Immortals Phoenix Rising. So, as far as I can tell, this is a Zelda copy. It's very much in the spirit of Breath of the Wild, and looks like you just take on mythological enemies, sort of like in a God of War style of gameplay. This is one that I picked up pretty cheaply. It's cheap on pretty much every system. It's like $15 or $10 or less for this game. Haven't played it yet, but maybe one day I'll get into that. Another sealed game I have is In Sound Mind Deluxe Edition. I honestly know nothing about this game. I just honestly thought the cover of it looked pretty cool. I think this is also available on Steam. Maybe I'll check it out there and keep this copy sealed. But if you know anything about this game, please let me know in the comments. Here's another game I covered in my first video, Into the Dead 2. This was originally a mobile game that was ported over to the Nintendo Switch. Really fun, running sort of shooting style of game. Worth checking out if you haven't played this one yet. There's a game called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R. So the reason I picked this up, honestly, is because I own JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on the Sega Dreamcast. It is one of the more expensive games on the Dreamcast. So because of that, I got this game here, which I don't believe it's the same game at all. I think it's its own standalone JoJo's game. I haven't played it on the Switch. It's still sealed, but I have played it on Xbox One. It was over on Game Pass for a little bit of time over there. These aren't really my style of game. Like the fighting, it's there's a lot of complexity built into it, and maybe that's where they lose me. I've honestly never really been good at fighting games either, so that could be part of it. But if you've played this one and have positive thoughts about it, please let me know. Here's another game I found cheap. It's probably shovelware. Just Die Already. It looks like it is a sandbox sort of game where you just go around and try to make people die. Really don't know anything about it beyond that. If you've played it, please let me know. Here's a game I covered briefly in one of my obscure videos. This is Katamari Damacy Reroll. I'm a big fan of the Katamari Damacy series. I just love all the colors. I love the uniqueness. I own this game on the Switch, but I also own copies of Katamari games on Xbox 360 and my PlayStation Vita. I'll probably end up buying a copy as well on Steam Deck just to have it there too. But definitely a fun game. Please check it out if you haven't played any of the Katamari Damacy games before. Here's another game that was for sale right around Black Friday. I got it for, I believe, $15. I know nothing about it, but it's called Kingdom Come Deliverance Royal Edition. I'm not sure if I'll be into this game or not. It looks kind of like it takes place in the medieval era, which I don't know. I'm kind of wishy-washy on the medieval stuff. I'm not always the biggest fan of them. The main exception of that was Witcher. I did love everything about The Witcher, but usually just knights running around and horses and swords and shields. Not really my thing usually, except for Zelda too. Maybe I actually am into that style, and I'm just selling myself short. You've played this, let me know. Happy to hear your thoughts on that. Here's another great game that I plan on doing a review for very, very soon. This is called Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I love Kirby. If you can't tell, I've got some Kirby amiibos up there on my shelf as well. So Kirby has a lot of nostalgia for me because I remember as a kid, I played a ton of Kirby on my Game Boy. I loved the Kirby pinball game. Kirby Dreamland, I think is what it was called. Or maybe Kirby Dreamland was the platformer. I can't remember, but Kirby on Game Boy, they hooked me in there young. And then ever since when Kirby comes out, I've been playing Kirby games. This is no exception. I love this game. I'm looking forward to covering it in more depth in an upcoming video for you. Now, before Kirby Dreamland came out, there was a game called Kirby Star Allies that came out for the Nintendo Switch. I've played this one. I think it's more fun probably with friends as a multiplayer game. I played it, unfortunately, as single player. I need to go back with a buddy or two and do some couch co-op or online play. I think I might have an even more enjoyable experience with this, but it's Kirby. Here's a game that was originally a Wii U exclusive, and then it got this Nintendo Switch port, Lego City Undercover. Now, I know people that have spent a lot of time with this game. I want to say this is one of the earlier releases on the Switch because I've had this one for a while. So it was one of the ones I would have bought when I was just trying to build up the early days of the Switch collection. I played it a little bit. I never got too sucked into it. I probably put in 5 hours or so with it. But if you've played this and enjoyed it, please let me know in the comments. So here's another game, Live Alive. Live Alive, Live Alive. I don't know how you pronounce it, but this was originally a Super Nintendo or Super Famicom exclusive in Japan. It has since been kind of remastered, ported over the Nintendo Switch, and this is how we can play it in the Western market. Basically, you follow the different storylines of 7 or 8 different individuals. Their stories come from all different eras of life. So you have prehistoric, Wild West, Imperial China, present day, Edo Japan, the near future, the distant future, the Middle Ages, etc. Now, this game's interesting because all those different storylines somehow managed to come together and cross paths at the very end of the game. So I got right to the end and I never actually finished it or beat it. I can't remember why. I think I just lost patience with one of the boss battles, or I wasn't leveled up enough to progress through and I didn't really feel like grinding. But I definitely owe it to myself to go back to it and finish this. But I enjoyed the experience up to when I decided to stop playing. So definitely check it out if you've never played this game before. Luigi's Mansion 3. So I actually bought this from a buddy of mine who is downsizing his collection. I have not played this one. I think I've only played the second one. I'm still in the market to get a copy of the first one on the GameCube and can't wait to play that one. But Luigi's Mansion, fun games. I'm sure I'm going to love this one. I've heard the art style and graphics. It makes it just absolutely beautiful. So happy to have this one and looking forward to playing it. So here's one of the games that was, I think it was a Switch launch title, or it came out very early in the lifespan of the Nintendo Switch. And this is Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. So I'm chuckling because I was knocking the whole real-time strategy style of Fire Emblem earlier. Well, this is a real-time strategy game. I don't know what it was about this one, but it really pulled me in. I liked it. I love the Mario characters. I think I have more history with Mario definitely than Fire Emblem. So there was that going for it. Then the Rabbids and having different Rabbids that was, a Mario Rabbid, a Peach Rabbid. It was just so quirky. It kept me interested, even though maybe the real-time strategy games aren't really my forte. So I like this. I think it's still a pretty cheap game if you can find it. It's definitely worth your time. And in that same vein, there's Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Now this is still sealed. Haven't played it, haven't opened it. It's one of those ones that went on sale around Black Friday. I think it's still on sale today for about $15. So that's why I grabbed it. I'm sure it's a lot of the same of the previous Rabbid game that I just was talking about. I'm sure I'll like it whenever I get around to playing it. Mario Golf Super Rush. So, funny enough, I love golf video games, but not so much golf in real life. This game here didn't really suck me in like I was hoping it would. I remember playing Mario Golf for Nintendo 64 and especially the GameCube for hours and hours on end. I used to play GameCube version of Mario Golf in college with buddies of mine, and we'd play into the wee hours of the morning, just making insane shots, unlocking all these different things in there. Just a lot of great memories with Mario Golf on GameCube. This one, I don't know what it was about it, but it just didn't pull me in. If you've played this one and had similar thoughts or a different experience, please let me know. Here's a game that needs no introduction, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now I know I think it's still the top selling or best selling game on the Nintendo Switch. I didn't put in nearly as much time with this as I know other people have. I think for me, what it was is that some of the car racing just felt slower, even on 150cc. I don't know if that got improved with different maps or some of the DLC updates that they've done. But at the time, that's why I never really was pulled in. Everything felt slower. Whereas my memories of playing either the GameCube version of Mario Kart or the Nintendo 64 version, when you had the 150cc setting on, you were flying. Sometimes going so fast you couldn't even really control yourself, especially around sharp turns. I don't remember that experience with this. If I'm completely wrong on that, I'm an idiot. Please let me know. But I know this is insanely popular. I know it's still one of the greatest games of all time. And I know a lot of people are excited for the upcoming Mario Kart on Switch 2. Mario Party Superstars. I have not played this. This is one I recently picked up in the last month or so. I have fond memories of playing Mario Party on the GameCube and Nintendo 64. Haven't really played it too much, the Wii, Wii U, Nintendo Switch eras, but I'll give this a try at some point. Martian Panic. I know nothing about this game. I picked it up because it was $10. I've heard it's complete garbage. If you've played it, let me know. Now here's a game, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. When this came out, the internet rejoiced because there are so many games on here. This is it's a perfect port of various arcade titles. So you have X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, The Punisher, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men, etc. A lot of these games, I know that they had little one-off, either arcade one-up releases for the standalone arcades, or some of these you just could never find previously before unless you went the ROM and emulation route. So this is the first time, to my knowledge, all of these games have been packaged on a physical version of a cart, and very excited to have this. I've played it a little bit, excited to get back into it a little bit more. These games need no introduction. It's the Metal Gear Solid collection. So this has on it, I believe, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2, and then Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. I've played all of those on PlayStation and PlayStation 2 back in the day. I own the compilations of these games on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. I really didn't need to have this, but it was $20, so I picked it up. Why not? Metroid Dread. I've played a lot of this game. I didn't beat it. I'll be honest, Metroid, I don't have anything against it. It's a beautiful game. I just get so annoyed of running around back and forth. Like, run all the way to the center of the map, run all the way back to the beginning, find this key, unlock this, remember where you went. I know people love that. For me, I don't know. It just feels kind of tedious at times running all around. But if you've played this game and loved it, let me know. Metroid Prime Remaster. Now, this was initially a GameCube game. I actually own it on GameCube too. And for a while, those games were getting up there in price. this got released. When it was released, everyone thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be one of those limited sort of games that Nintendo does, like the Nintendo Mario All-Star game, where they're going to discontinue after a certain amount of time. So people were going a little bit crazy buying this. The price went up for a while. I was able to acquire it for $40, which was the fair market price for it. But I know there were some people either selling it or buying it for about $100 plus at one point. Haven't played this. I don't know if I'm going to play it on this or I'm going to play it on my GameCube, but looking forward to trying this at some point. Next up, we have Minecraft. So I spent some time with this. I love the creativity involved, but I'll be honest, the tediousness of crafting is not for me. I am not one of those people that dropped countless hours into this and have these awesome creations to show. Rather, I just go to someone's page and see what they made with their creations. With this game, I was kind of boring in that I just like to dig. I like digging deep underground and seeing what I could find, seeing what kind of gems were down there. I didn't really care about the whole crafting part. I just liked exploring. Fun game to have. It's Minecraft. What more can I say about that? Here we have another shoot 'em up game. This is, I believe it's pronounced Mushi Himisama. I probably butchered that. This is a limited run game. It was on my radar for a long time. It is still sealed. Again, the reason it's still sealed is because I do have ports of this on my arcade machine. I'll play it there. I just really wanted this in a physical copy. Very happy to have this. For the longest time, you couldn't find this anywhere, and the prices were getting out of control. So I'm glad I was able to get this for a reasonable value. Next up, new Pokemon Snap. I loved the original Pokemon Snap on Nintendo 64. I remember going to Blockbuster, the local video store at the time, and renting it for the week or the weekend and playing it for countless hours during the summer. And I remember how cool it was when you could finally take a picture of like Mew or other rare Pokemon. This game was fun in its own right, but it definitely didn't tap into that nostalgia factor for me like the Nintendo 64 version did. I never actually finished this game. I got pretty far into it. I'll go back and give it a go at some point. But if you played this, let me know your thoughts on that. And then we have the Neo Geo Pocket Collection Volume 1. So ironically enough, the Neo Geo Pocket is a system I've never owned. Actually never owned any Neo Geo systems. I'm looking to get into it. But unfortunately, you could pay a lot of money on acquiring the system and the games. And this was just really a convenient way to get all the stuff you'd probably want without dropping a fortune. So it looks like 10 different games on here. If you were to price out individually the cartridges for those games, you're easily going to drop anywhere between, 30 to 70 bucks per cartridge. Multiply that by 10. Plus it's about 100 or so for the actual Neo Geo Pocket itself. It just didn't really seem worth it when you can get all this for 40 bucks. So in terms of value, great value. Mine's still sealed. I haven't played it yet. I definitely plan on getting into this at some point. Okay, continuing on, we have the new Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. I believe this first came out on the Wii U. My copy's still sealed. I haven't played it yet. I'll be honest, my backlog of games, especially Mario games, is so big. I'll get to this eventually. Just it hasn't really jumped up to the front of my backlog just yet. But if you played it, let me know in the comments, please. Another game I'm not really familiar with, but it was on sale. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom Prince's Edition. I've heard these are great RPGs, Japanese RPGs, but again, haven't played it. If you've played it and I need to jump this to the front of the backlog, please let me know in the comments. Now here's a game that, to my knowledge, is exclusive to Switch. If I got that wrong, let me know. But No More Heroes. This was, I said exclusive to Switch. I meant to say exclusive to Nintendo, because this was initially a Wii release that has been reported to the Nintendo Switch. But to my knowledge, this first game you can't find anywhere but on Nintendo platforms. At least that's my understanding. So I've never played these. I actually just started this one in the last few weeks. I'm a few hours into it, but they're over the top games. So in this one, you play as Travis Touchdown. He's ranked the number 11 assassin in the world, and you're basically playing through trying to become assassin number 1. I don't really know where the story goes beyond that, but I've heard they're just over the top, beat 'em up style games. So happy to diving deeper into this one. And speaking of No More Heroes, I do also own No More Heroes 3. I believe this one is on other systems. I think I've seen it on Xbox and PlayStation 5. So if you want to experience the No More Heroes franchise, you can definitely jump into it with some of the later releases. But to my knowledge, I think the first game is still a Nintendo exclusive. Oddworld Collection for Nintendo Switch. I've never played an Oddworld game. I think these came around with the PlayStation, Xbox era. This one specifically includes New and Tasty, Munch's Odyssey, and then Oddworld Stranger's Wrath. I'll definitely give these a try at some point, but if you've played these and have great memories, please let me know. Pac-Man Museum. This copy is still sealed because it was on Xbox Game Pass for the longest time. I played it a fair amount over there. But this basically has 14 Pac-Man games included. A lot of the different arcade ports of games, a lot of the different obscure titles from Pac-Man, Pac-Man spin-offs. Pretty fun game. I recommend it if you've got $20 to throw around and there's looking for some good time with Pac-Man. Paper Mario the Origami King. Now, I spent a lot of time on this game. I didn't beat it. I can't remember why I didn't finish it. I think there was something going on where I had to run back and forth across different parts of the map. But I'd love to get back in and finish this one. If you've played this and beaten it, please let me know your thoughts on that game. And speaking of Paper Mario, here is Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. This was first released on the Nintendo GameCube. It has since been ported over to Switch. The GameCube version was up there in price for a while. It was a $100 plus game. So, was it the GameCube? I hope I got that right. Maybe it was Nintendo 64. I don't remember, but let me know in the comments if you played this one and your thoughts on that. But I'm happy to play this at some point. Next up, one of my favorite games. I've owned this on almost every system it's come out for. Persona 5 Royal. So it's an Atlas game again. I first played this on PlayStation 4, sunk so many hours into this game. I'd never played anything like it. And honestly, this game opened up the Pandora's box for me for the other Persona games, Shin Megami Tensei games. If you haven't played this game, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Please go out and get yourself a copy of this game. Next up, we have Persona 5 Tactica. My copy is unopened. I got this for sale on Amazon. I think I paid $20 or something for it. I've never played the Tactica games. I don't really know much about it. It's probably a real-time strategy sort of game. But if you've played this one and it's any good, let me know. Pikmin 3 Deluxe. So I've played this one. I beat it. I love Pikmin. I think it's so novel and unique what they've done with this idea in this franchise. It's very cute, very colorful style of gameplay, yet a lot of the puzzling involved kind of reminds me of a game called Lemmings from back in the day. I loved Lemmings as a kid. So you control your different Pikmin through different scenarios and try to work towards a common goal. Really a lot of fun. I don't know if that's the best Pikmin, though. If there's other Pikmin games that are better, please let me know. But I've played Pikmin 3 and then Pikmin on the 3DS. I still need to play Pikmin 1, Pikmin 2, Pikmin 4. So I'm still kind of a novice at Pikmin, but happy to dive deeper into that more. Next up, Planescape, Torment, and Icewind Dale Enhanced Editions. I believe these were initially PC games that got ported to Nintendo Switch. Around the same time these were released, there was a Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 compilation. I should have picked that up when I saw it for $20 because that game is now over like $100. It was stupid to pass it up, but saw this one. It was like $18 at a GameStop. I grabbed it just because I don't know anything about these games. If they're one day going to get more expensive, I'll play them at some point. Rocky and Rocky Reshined. Now, I played this briefly just to check out the art style. I didn't really get too far into it. My understanding is that this was a Super Nintendo game and that this is a sort of reimaging, remastering of that version. But heard good things about it. Good platforming game. Happy to play it at some point. If you play this one, let me know. Next up, Pokemon Legends Arceus. So I dropped a lot of time into this game. Hadn't played a Pokemon game quite like this. So Arceus is basically the god Pokemon that created the world as we know it, which I thought was a very interesting premise. I don't recall ever really running into that in a Pokemon game, but it was fun just running around, catching Pokemon, battling. Highly recommend this one if you haven't played it. And then I also have Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. So this is a throwback to like the original 150 Pokemon. So I was actually in middle school when Pokemon Red and Blue came out for Game Boy. I got them day one. I remember asking my mom to go to the store, Best Buy or Walmart or Target or whatever, and get me Red because I wanted the Charmander Charizard combo. But ever since then, I've just been hooked on Pokemon. I took a little bit of time off as I grew up, went through college, but been reliving Pokemon and re-experiencing some Pokemon games I may have missed. This is a good throwback to nostalgia if you are fans of the original 150 Pokemon, just like this one. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. So it's pretty much the same thing as Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, kind of like how Red and Blue were pretty much similar. Slight variations. I honestly couldn't tell you what the variations are, but I played both of them years ago, had a good time with them. And then we also have Pokemon Scarlet. So this one they had Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. I have Violet coming up later here, but really fun game. A lot of different new Pokemon. I sunk a lot of time into this one as well. Pokemon Shining Pearl. So I believe this was either a DS or 3DS game initially. It was reported over here to Switch. I've not played it. I'll get into it at some point. I can't recall if they had some gimmicks of this. And by gimmicks, I mean, I know there was a while with Pokemon where they were doing these X or Y evolution mega type Pokemon, which just got to be too complicated. And when I played those sorts of games, I never really cared for or did those evolution things where it's like, oh, let's turn my Pokemon Crystal Blue and have him do a special. I just wanted to do the original OG Pokemon battle. So don't know if this has that or not. If it does, I'll skip over it and just play the way I want to play. But if you played this one, it's any good, let me know. I mentioned Pokemon Violet, and here it is. Basically the same thing as Pokemon Scarlet, just like a red or blue variant, Violet or Scarlet variant. Didn't play this one because I played Scarlet, but still sealed. Next up, we have Pokemon Sword. So they had Sword and Shield that came out a few years ago. I didn't buy Shield. Maybe I'll get that at some point, but played this one. Had a lot of fun with it. Princess Peach Showtime. Now, I'm so happy Princess Peach got her own games. This is really a cool premise. I've not played this one. There's also a Princess Peach exclusive game on DS that I recently picked up. Haven't played that one either, but I plan on it. But I really love that Peach got her own time in the spotlight to shine. So happy to try this one in the coming weeks. Psycho Collection Volume 2. So this is an Asian release. I picked it up for a while. This was exclusive to the Asian markets. It has 4 shoot 'em up games on here. So Strikers 1945, Gunbird 2, Blade, and Dragon Blaze. So if you've been paying attention throughout this video, I have a few games that are foreign, Japanese, or from the Asian markets. The cool thing about the Nintendo Switch is it plays all of those titles. It is region free. Every region is unlocked. And 9 out of 10 times, those Asian releases or the foreign releases, once you put the cartridge in your Switch, it plays the game in English subtitles or English screens and menus. So you're really not missing out on anything with a lot of those titles. This has since received a North American release. So if I wanted to, I could go back and get an American or North American version of it or whatever. I don't really care. The games are great. You don't need to have proper language to play and enjoy these. This is another shoot 'em up called Sariar Delta. I played this a little bit. It didn't really suck me in like I hoped it would. I probably need to go back and give it another shot. Or maybe I just wasn't that good at it. If you've played this one, let me know in the comments. Another shoot 'em up. This is Radiant Silvergun from Limited Run Games. Still sealed because, for the same reason I mentioned previously, I have all these shoot 'em up games on the MAME arcade set up at home. I'll play them there. Just wanted to have this one as a collector. Another shoot 'em up. This is Raid'em 4 X Mikado Remix. This is really fun, and the remix part is they have different music that has been remixed into the background. Just gives it a different vibe and feeling to it. Really fun game. If you ever played the other Raiden games, you'll really like this one. And then Rayman Legends, the definitive edition. So I've had this one for a while. I think I picked it up for 10 or 12 bucks, but it's Rayman. It's a lot of fun, great platforming. Next up, a game called Rime. So this is a puzzle game where you go through and they don't really give you any detail or background on what's going on. You just have to explore the world and figure it out for yourself. Kind of like games like The Witness. Now, I haven't played this for too much time. I think I've maybe played for an hour or two. I kind of got stuck and never really progressed through, so I'll go back and give it another view. But if you played this one and enjoyed it, please let me know your thoughts. Shadowverse Champions Battle. So this is a game I purchased at a GameStop or on sale. Can't really remember, but it was under 20 bucks. To my understanding, it is a card-based game where you have to build different decks and have your cards sort of battle it out. Don't really know much beyond that, but I'll give it a try at some point. Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster. So this, I believe, was a PlayStation 2 game that got ported over to the Nintendo Switch. I've not yet played it. I'll get to it at some point. I've played Shin Megami Tensei 5. I've played number 4. So I'm kind of working backwards. This is next up on my dock to get to. Speaking of Shin Megami Tensei 5, so for the longest time, this was a Nintendo Switch exclusive. They've since kind of repurposed the game, added new content, released it on the other platforms. I forget what the new title of it is, like Shin Megami Tensei 5, like Resurgence or Revisited or something like that. But I had a lot of time with this game. It's really fun. If you're a fan of the Persona series, this will be right up your alley. Sid Meier's Civilization 6. I've played this one a lot on this version. I prefer playing Civ on PC because it's just easier to work with a mouse and keyboard. But this was a good time, especially if you have a buddy you can play with. Another shoot 'em up. Switch is a shoot 'em up machine. Sin or Cine Mora X. And I believe this game also got released on Xbox, maybe even PlayStation 5. I do have a copy on my Xbox 360 that I play. But this is a fun one. It's a little bit more difficult. I haven't beaten it yet, but definitely worth checking out if you like shoot 'em ups. Sonic Mania. So this is the ultimate celebration of past and future. All new adventure with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, full of unique bosses, rolling 2D landscapes, and fun pixel perfect gameplay. Spent a little time with this. I never was the biggest Sonic fan. I was always more of a Mario guy, but happy to dig into this a little bit more. Another Nintendo exclusive, Splatoon 2. I spent a good amount of time with this. This is the first Splatoon game that I actually played. I love the whole premise of taking over a map by spraying your paint on it from your paint gun. Really fun premise to this game. The multiplayer action is a lot of fun too. So highly recommend this if you haven't played it. There's also Splatoon 3, which probably is your preferred way to play now for the online presence, but fun series nonetheless. Star Wars Pinball. These games, so this has like, I don't know, 19 different tables on here, all Star Wars themed. If you're a fan of pinball, this is definitely a great one to pick up for the Switch. Stranded Deep. So this copy is still sealed because for the longest time this was available on Xbox Game Pass. I played it over there, but basically you are stranded on a deserted island, excuse me. And you have to find ways to craft things, craft a raft, craft a hammer, craft a knife, whatever, and basically try to get off the island and find a way to survive. Fun premise. I said earlier I don't like crafting games, but this really sucked me in. I had a good time with this, and one day I'll go back and replay it. Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. So this has pretty much every Street Fighter game from that time, the early 90s, that you could want on here. Great game. It was about $20 I picked it up for, so definitely worth the value. Super Bomberman R. Now, this game came out early on in the Switch's lifespan. I picked it up again because I was hurting to have more physical Switch games. This isn't the best Bomberman by far. I heard a lot of people actually don't really consider this to be that good of a game. I was kind of indifferent to it. Didn't really suck me in, didn't really drive me away. If you've played this, let me know your thoughts in the comments, please. Super Mario 3D All Stars. Now, I mentioned this one briefly earlier. This has Nintendo 64. I'm sorry, Super Mario Nintendo 64 on here. It has Mario Sunshine from the GameCube and Super Mario Galaxy from the Wii. This is one of the games that Nintendo released, and then they announced, oh, we're not going to be producing this one anymore. So the price shot up because you couldn't find it in stores. At the time, like an idiot, I didn't buy it because I was like, oh, I've got all three of these games on their native systems. I don't need this. Well, I ended up biting the bullet and I dropped over $80 for this copy used. Happy to have it. It'll be fun to go back and play. I've actually never played Super Mario Sunshine, so I'm really curious to see how it plays and if I'm a fan of it. It's one of the ones that doesn't get a whole lot of love in the Mario franchise, but I've heard that it's a little underrated, so definitely happy to go check it out at some point. And of course, relive Mario 64 and Super Mario Galaxy. Now, speaking of Mario, this is Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Now, as I understand it, Super Mario 3D World was a Nintendo Wii U game that got ported over. And when they ported it, they added this new game called Bowser's Fury. I've heard great things about both of these games. I've never played it. I've actually only acquired this game within the past month, but I'm happy to have these in the collection and happy to experience them when I get to them. Super Mario Brothers Wonder. This is another newer release to the Mario franchise. I think it came out last year or so. I have not played it. I just picked it up in the last month or so, but I'm happy to get into this at some point in time. I'm sure I'm going to love it. Super Mario Odyssey. This needs no introduction. I mean, this was a great Mario game. The things they did here, like New Donk City, transforming to T-Rex, just such creativity. It never ceases to amaze me what level of creativity Nintendo can just kind of keep pulling out of the hat and what they've been doing for over 35 years. So, great game. Must own if you have a Nintendo Switch. Next, Super Mario Party. I played this one. Again, it didn't really suck me in like the previous Mario parties on Nintendo 64, even the GameCube, but I had a good time with it. It was fun to have with friends. Super Mario Party Jamboree. I have not opened this one. I have not played it. I just picked it up in the last month or so. I'm guessing it's more the same Mario Party, just different boards that you can play on, maybe some different characters. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, when this game came out, I played a lot of it, but since there's just been so many characters added, it's kind of overwhelming to me, honestly. I'm a big fan of Super Smash Bros. Brawl on the GameCube. I remember dropping more than 100 hours into that. Loved that game. This one I really enjoyed, but I didn't love it like I love the GameCube game. If you love this one, let me know your thoughts. Happy to hear why I should go back and revisit it. Sushi Striker: The Way of Sushido. I haven't played this. I know nothing about it. I saw it at Goodwill. It was like $5. Picked it up. Figured can't go wrong. Maybe one day I'll play it. Taito Milestones. This has 10 different Taito games on it. Things like Shack and Pop, Elevator Action, Alpine Ski. Games I'm sure I have already on my main machine, but this was cheap. It was like $15, so I picked it up. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga Collection. So this has all of the old school NES and GameCube Mario games that if you're a child of the 90s, they'll be right up your alley in terms of nostalgia. So I've opened this, I popped it in. I don't really know if I've played much of it. I think I was just testing it out to relive the nostalgia or listen to some of the music from the old school NES game, which I love. But I'll definitely spend more time with this. I'm a big fan of the Ninja Turtle games from back in the day. Now, if you watch my channel, you see from over the weekend or a few nights ago, I posted a video of me playing through Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Wrath of the Mutants. So that's a newer game. definitely under the ownership of the Nickelodeon franchise. These games, I know it says Nickelodeon up top, but they were all made before Nickelodeon acquired them. I'm not really a fan of what Nickelodeon's done to the franchise. I think Turtles offers so much more, and I don't know. I'm just not really feeling the Nickelodeon ownership. Let me know your thoughts on Ninja Turtles and where they are today. The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. So this is a roguelike game. I know people, this has a cult following. People absolutely love this game or they hate it. I spent some time with it. I don't know if I gave it a fair shake to really play through and get to understand the nuances and mechanics of the game. I'd love to go back and revisit it, but at the time, this is 2017, 2018. At the time, it didn't really suck me in like it sucked in other players out there. Happy to go back and revisit it though. Let me know if you've played this one and if there's something I'm missing on it. The Doinksoft collection. So this includes a few games on here: Demon Throttle, Gato Roboto, and Gumbrella. I don't really know anything about this. I was trying to purchase Demon Throttle, which was for sale on its own, I think like $20. Or then you can get this Doinksoft collection, which has Demon Throttle plus two other games for 25. So I bought this instead. So I'll get to it eventually. Happy to have it in the collection. Happy to check it out and see what this is all about. The Grinch Christmas Adventures. So this is one I picked up cheap at a GameStop. It was like $10. So happy to have this. I'm sure I'll get into it at some point and enjoy it, but it's the Grinch. What else can you say about the Grinch? Then we have the Jackbox Party Pack version 7. So I have all the other Jackbox party games on my Switch in a digital format. I spent a lot of time with them. They're great party games. Picked up 7, played a little bit on my own. For one player, I wouldn't recommend them. You definitely need to have a party or have people over to really enjoy them, but this was cheap. Happy to pick it up and have it in the collection. And here we have The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. So this game came out, I believe, first on the Wii. I owned it over there. I think I got into it briefly, but I wasn't really feeling the whole Wii remote gameplay with it. So I'm happy to try it out here on the Switch. I've heard that this game is actually a lot better than how the reviews cover it, so we'll see. I don't really know much about it. Happy to have this one and looking forward to playing it at some point. Next up, this game needs no introduction. It was a launch title. If you haven't heard of it, I don't know where you've been, but Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I spent a lot of time with this one. Funny story enough, I never actually beat this game. I got all the way to the very end, right to the part where you're in Ganon's castle. You're about to run through to fight him for the final time. I just stopped playing. I don't know. I kind of joke it's like one of those things like you watch a movie and you turn it off before it ends because you don't want the movie to end. I guess that's what I kind of did here. But I've seen some speed runs of people go through and play this game. They start out and they go right to Ganon's castle and beat the game in like under 10 minutes or something crazy like that. I never did that, but I had a good time with it all the same. I know a lot of people knock the whole weapon breaking and crafting and stuff. You know me and crafting, I didn't really do any of that. But weapon breaking, I didn't really mind too much, just something to get used to. But it was definitely cool having an open world environment and running around and exploring at your leisure, which I really liked. And the follow up to that game, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I haven't played this one yet. I was super excited for it. I bought it as soon as it was released, day one. Just never got around to it. I don't know why, but eventually I'll get into it. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition. So I played this one first on PlayStation 4 way back in 2015 or 2016. Spent a lot of time in it. Really loved it. Picked it up on the Switch. Just a fun way to have it on the go. So if you haven't played The Witcher, or The Witcher 3, I should say, highly recommend this game. I think it was Game of the Year back in the day. Next up, we have The Wonderful 101 Remastered. I believe this was initially a Wii U game that got ported over to the Switch. I haven't played it yet, but I'm looking forward to getting into this. If you've played this, please let me know in the comments. I mentioned earlier Collection of Mana or Secrets of Mana, whatever. This is Trials of Mana. So this has more of the Mana games. I've never played any of these. I'll get into them at some point, but Happy to have this in the collection. Here we have Trine, the Ultimate Collection. So this has, looks like Trine 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've never played these games. My copy is still sealed with this stupid sticker thing on it. But I've heard good things about them. I'll get into these eventually, but I picked it up mainly as a curiosity and because there's 4 games on here. I'm a sucker for compilations. What can I say? Ugly Dolls, An Imperfect Adventure. So this is one of the games that I got when I bought a lot of games. I think I was getting 4, 5, or 6 games in a box. This was one of them. I didn't choose this individually, it just came with it. I knew nothing about this. I don't know if it's any good. If you've played this one, let me know. If you know anything about Ugly Dolls, let me know. Unicorn Overloads. This is an Atlas game. I think it's a real-time strategy game, but a lot of people were talking about it last year. I picked it up on the Switch. I think it's also on Xbox One or PlayStation 5. So happy to check this out at some point. I will be opening it and playing it because it's Atlas, but super excited for this one. WarioWare, get it together. I love the WarioWare games. I talked about Nintendo's creativity. I love what they did here, and I love that Wario has his own game franchise. He is such a unique, compelling character. He started out as a villain in Super Mario Land 2, and he's since kind of gotten his own games, and I love it. I love everything about how quirky these games are, how unique the gameplay is, the short little mini games that you go through, just the creativity Nintendo pumped into this. I love this game. Wild Guns Reloaded. So this was initially a Super Nintendo game that got ported over to the Nintendo Switch. I played a little bit of it. It's that type of game where you've got characters on the screen and you've got your target that aims with your gun and you have to shoot them, kind of like a railgun game. It's fun. I definitely need to spend more time with it though. Here we have the XCOM 2 collection. I've not played any of the XCOM games, but this is a game that was on sale, so I picked it up. Please let me know if you've played these and what I'm missing out on. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. So we talk about Nintendo exclusives. The whole Xenoblade franchise is Nintendo exclusive. This game was initially released on the Wii. It was since ported over to the Nintendo Switch, which is what you see here. I spent a lot of time with this game, and it really had a compelling story. It has memorable characters. It did a good job pulling me in. The only thing that was kind of clunky was the battle system, but whatever. It's not the worst I've ever encountered. This was very memorable, and I recommend it if you've not played this one before. Following up with that, we have Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I played this one, I beat it. It was a memorable experience, but I think I liked the first one more. There's also a prequel that I think it's called Legends of Torna or something of that nature. I don't own that one yet, but I will get that eventually and play that. But this is a fun one. I just think the first one was better. Then we have Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now, this one is still sealed because I haven't gotten around to playing it yet. These games take a lot of time commitment. Like, I'm talking 70, 80, 100 hours. I don't feel like getting into that just yet, but I've heard nothing but great things about this one. I know a lot of people rank this as the best Xenoblade game out there, followed by number 1. So happy to get into this at some point in time. If you've played this, let me know in the comments. And last but not least, my final Nintendo Switch game I'm showing today, Yoshi's Crafted World. Now, again, I believe this was originally a Wii U game that got ported over to the Nintendo Switch. It's Yoshi. It's very colorful, very cute. I love the music. I love the environments. It's just fun playing as Yoshi. So definitely recommend this one if you haven't played it, especially if you can get it for cheap. Okay, so there we have it. Thank you so much for sticking with me here as I went through all 146 of my Nintendo Switch games. Now, if there's anything that I saw that you like, please let me know in the comments. I'm happy to have a discussion around some of those great games. If there's anything that you saw that wasn't in my collection, please let me know that as well. I'm always looking to buy more new Switch games to add to the collection. As always, I want to thank you for tuning in, And if you liked what you saw, please do me a favor, hit that like button, hit subscribe. It just helps me with the overall YouTube algorithm, and it helps me understand what sort of content you would like to see so that I can make more things that you want to watch versus just thinking what I might be interested in seeing. But again, thank you so much for watching. Take care.